Welcome, everybody. My name is Zach Pasquarello, and in this video, I'm going to talk about Alex Hormozi and some of the strategies that he teaches and how I have incorporated those into my own bookkeeping business. If you're new here, I started my bookkeeping business 5 years ago, and I grew to the point where I had about 80 bookkeeping clients, and I started teaching other people how to do this about 2 years ago because I just love talking about my own bookkeeping business. And so everything I share is really just stuff that I've already personally done to grow my own bookkeeping business. I do apologize. I missed yesterday because I had to go to the doctor because I hurt my back slash my neck about 10 days ago and it wasn't getting any better. So I had to go to the doctor yesterday and I got adjusted and I'm feeling better today. I'm going back on Thursday to hopefully keep working on my back slash my neck. So do apologize for missing yesterday. Do apologize if I look kind of weird because I still can't really move my neck, but I'm going to be okay. I guess that's one of the problems. As bookkeepers, we sit at a desk for 8, 10 hours a day. So if I have any advice for anybody, I'm relatively young. I'm only 32 years old and my back and neck and arms and wrists and everything my hips are already starting to hurt. So if you sit at a desk all day, it's easier probably than working an outside job, doing landscaping or doing roofing. I'm not comparing what we do to them, but it's also not cake. Like we're also hurting our bodies just sitting here. So if I had any advice for any bookkeepers, not related to Alex Hormozi's strategy, but just any advice for anybody who has an office job, maybe link up with a chiropractor, do some stretches, work on mobility. I actually just bought a standing desk. So I got a standing desk to hopefully help my neck and my back and my hips. But anyway, that's enough of that. I'm sure you don't care too much about my neck and my back, but I care about your neck and your back. So I just shared that. So hopefully you can learn from my mistakes. Okay, let's talk about 10 things. 10 things that Alex Hormozi teaches and talks about and how I've kind of related that to my own bookkeeping business. So first of all, started studying Alex Hormozi, started watching specifically his YouTube videos probably about 3 years ago. I just found he randomly, I think he was talking about taxes on YouTube, one of his YouTube videos, just randomly found him 3 or 4 years ago and just really liked his education style content. So really liked the stuff he was putting out and how he was putting it out. So what problem do you need to solve in your business? That's one of the biggest things that I learned from Alex. Every business has different problems, whether it's marketing or product or recruiting or hiring. So he gives the example of a gym versus a cleaning company. And I think there's a lot that we can take away from this. For gyms, it's easy to find people who want to be trainers in a gym, but it's not so easy to find customers because there's a million gyms all over the place and they're all trying to get new customers. They're all trying to get clients. And so marketing is one of the hard parts is one of the problems you have to solve if you're trying to grow a gym versus a cleaning company. I don't know if you have ever tried to hire a cleaning company, but it's hard to find a cleaning company who has availability because it's hard to find cleaners. People would much rather be a personal trainer than be a cleaner because that's not a very easy job. It's dirty, it's hard work. You're kind of alone a lot of the times, just literally just vacuuming and wiping down and picking things up. So trying to grow a cleaning company, it's not about marketing. It's about hiring and retaining employees. And then so how does this relate to us? So we are kind of like a high level service consulting company, right? We offer bookkeeping services. So another problem for bookkeeping services, and he compares us to like some of the big four accounting firms or consulting firms like Deloitte and PwC. So a big thing for them is recruiting and retaining expert level, top level talent. So for us right now, you're probably just starting a bookkeeping business and you might not be trying to grow your bookkeeping business. But if you ever do get to a point where you want to hire people and grow a business, I believe one of the problems that we would have to solve if we got to a point where we were growing our bookkeeping business beyond just ourselves is not necessarily the marketing piece. It's more so hiring and retaining top level talent, basically, because we're selling expert services. So we need to hire experts. And so we need to compete with everybody else who's trying to hire and keep experts. So that would be one of the big problems that you have to solve. And then finally, talking about like a SaaS company or an e-commerce company, their big problem they have to solve is product. So ours isn't necessarily product, isn't necessarily marketing. It's more so hiring and retaining high expert level staff, expert level employees. Okay, so the big mindset shift, focusing on value, not necessarily on price. And a lot of this has to do with emotions. And so everything that I try to do in my marketing is a lot of emotion, is a lot focused on emotion. So I try to talk about how stressed out people are because they don't have their tax returns, or how frustrated they are because their bookkeeper isn't accurately and timely updating their books. So I try to tap into people's emotions and tap into the value that I can provide, not necessarily the price, because the price is honestly irrelevant. Because what we do is we record transactions and we reconcile accounts, generate financial reports so that people can file their taxes, so that the IRS doesn't come and arrest them. And that frees up their time, and that also reduces their stress. So, therefore, hiring us as a bookkeeper, I will quite literally reduce your stress and free up your time. And for business owners, that is priceless. So don't focus on the price. The price is irrelevant. What does matter is what I'm going to do for you. And so you need to convey that in your marketing during your sales call. You need to explain, what am I going to do for you? And I just told you, I'm going to record your transactions, reconcile your accounts, generate your financial reports so that you can file your taxes, so that you can sleep at night, so that you're not stressed out. So I redesigned my offer for bookkeeping using kind of an Alex Hormozi model. And really, the big takeaway here is just clear results, very clear results. And this is going to do two things. This is going to make it easy for your client to understand what you're doing, but it's also going to alleviate frustration. It's going to alleviate frustration for you as the bookkeeper and the client as the customer, because I want to be very clear with what I do. And this is going to help with scope creep and boundaries. So I very clearly tell people, I don't just do general accounting. I'm not just an outsourced controller. I'm not a fractional CFO. I am just simply a bookkeeper. Very clear results. I will create your financial reports, very specifically your P&L and your balance sheet. And I do that by reconciling your accounts. In order to reconcile your accounts, I need to categorize and record all of your transactions. And I do that after the fact. After your transactions have occurred, they flow through your bank feed, they appear on your bank statements, I record them and then reconcile, and then you get your financial reports. Very clear results. And then that is $500 per month. So my offer is updated, accurate, timely financial reports. My offer is not $99 bookkeeping services. My offer is value driven and very clear and very specific. Understanding your target clients and their pain points. So, this is all about emotions. This is all about pain points, all about stress, frustration, emotions. So, very specifically, I don't necessarily tell everybody you need to get a niche, but in this example, it could be helpful for me specifically, understanding clients' pain points, restaurants, e-commerce, different pain points. For example, I talk a lot about real estate investors. They might need class tracking. They definitely need class tracking because they need to differentiate between their properties. So during the sales call, during my advertising and marketing, I can talk about those pain points and I can relate to these real estate investors and I can prove to them that I know what I'm talking about. They don't have to ask me for class tracking. I tell them, you need class tracking. I tell them, I need all of your HUDs, all of your ALTAs for your acquisitions and your dispositions. I need to know this earnest money deposit. Which property did that go for? I need to know all this information so that I can accurately record the journal entry every time you buy a house, every time you sell a house. I need to know the property for all of your utility payments, repairs and maintenance, job supplies, insurance, property taxes, interest payments. I need to see your promissory notes. I need to see all this stuff. And so understanding your clients and their pain points can help you articulate how you can solve their problems, what type of value you can provide for them. So I don't focus on price when I'm marketing or selling, but price is still a huge factor. Of course, we all need to get paid. Hormozi talks a lot about raising prices. So inflation, what is inflation? I don't know, 3%, 5%, 8%, 15%. I don't know what it is right now or what it was last year, but you should absolutely keep up with inflation at the very least. And so I think a 3 to 5% price increase is totally acceptable. I would much rather do a consistent 3 to 5% price increase every single year than wait 3 or 4 years, get so frustrated, and then boom, do a 50% price increase because you're panicking and you're frustrated and you don't want to keep doing this anymore. But that's your fault because you didn't gradually increase the prices because you were too scared in the beginning. So let me give you some confidence. Let me hopefully make you not scared. The majority of the times, I was actually shocked. The first time I increased prices, nobody fired me. Nobody got upset. Everybody was like, yep, totally makes sense. And ever since then, I just continued to raise prices. Honestly, 5 to 10% every year. I raise prices every 12 months. So if I onboard somebody in October 2025, then I'll make a note of when I onboarded them. And then October of 2026, I'll increase their prices. So I guess there's two different ways you can do it. You can increase everybody's price every December or every January, the same time every year, or you can kind of more strategically do it and keep track of clients on an individual basis and just increase them after they've been with you for 12 months. But here's the lesson that I learned. If a client fires you because you increased their bookkeeping price by 10%, I've got some news for you. They were looking for a reason to fire you anyway. They weren't happy with your services. You didn't have a good relationship. They were ready to move on, or their business is failing, and they were simply looking for a reason to fire you anyway. Think about it. $1,000 a month, probably your biggest client right now. If you increase their prices by an extra $100 per month, that's going out to eat one time. That's one or two extra software subscriptions. 10% monthly increase, I really don't think that's a huge increase. I don't know. Maybe I'm naive. Maybe I'm out of touch, but I think an extra $100 for a bookkeeper you've been working with for 12 months who has learned all of your processes and your systems, an extra $100 per month for somebody you're already paying $1,000, to me, that doesn't seem like a whole lot. And then also, once you get $10,000 per month of monthly clients, if you increase everybody by 10%, that's an extra $1,000. You basically just got a whole extra client just by increasing everybody's price by 10%. So you got to increase prices. You got to increase prices. Don't be afraid to do it. Everybody does it. QuickBooks does it. QuickBooks literally does it very often, very extremely, a lot. Like QuickBooks has increased their price just in the past 5 years a lot. So don't be afraid to do it. Seriously, don't be afraid to do it. All right, so I've been rambling on for about 15 minutes. So if anybody has any questions, let me know in the chat. I'm going to get to everybody's questions in the chat, and let's just do a couple housekeeping updates and comments and notes. So I go live every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 10 a.m. unless I'm at the doctor. And I don't go live on Monday. If you want to meet with me on Monday, I have a exclusive private group meeting every Monday at 3 p.m. There's an option to sign up for that down below. I've got a free Facebook page. If you want to connect on Facebook, there's 22,000 people in the Facebook page. I post there almost daily. Other people post there. You can ask questions. You can meet other new bookkeepers. It's pretty cool. Free Facebook group, 22,000 people. That's linked down below. I have a website, harrisburgbookkeeping.com/store. Ton of digital downloads. A lot of them are free. So definitely recommend check out my website, check out my store. And then I have a course. I have a course for sale. There's a free mini course. You can get a free preview of the course down below. And then if you like it, you can pay for it. If you don't like it, if you don't want to pay for it, just watch all my videos. You can probably learn a lot just from watching my videos. And then finally, this video is sponsored by my investment fund, Zip Capital. I'm offering 8% up to 12% fixed returns. You have to be a US citizen and an accredited investor. I invest in local real estate debt. So I'm a local private money lender. So I lend money to real estate investors. I charge them 12%. All my loans are secured with a mortgage on a property in Pennsylvania. I do all the underwriting. I do all the processing, and I've been doing it for 3 years. Started in 2023, did it 2023, 2024, and now 2025 is my third year as a private money lender. And I have $3 million lent out right now. If you see the piece of paper on the board back there, almost $2 million of other people's money invested into Zip Capital. And then I have 1 million of my own dollars invested into Zip Capital. So that link is down below. If you want to register on my website, definitely recommend check that out. Okay, let's get back to it. Where was I? Let me check my notes. The importance of clear messaging and communication. So simplify your message. Simplify your message. That's what it's all about. Very clearly, very simply, what do you do? Who are you? What do you do? Harrisburg bookkeeping. Where are you located? Harrisburg. What do you do? Bookkeeping. So super simple, crystal clear in the name of my business. What do you do? Are you an accountant? Well, so people ask me, are you an accountant? I say, well, I do bookkeeping. What are you looking for? So typically, I generally try to ask for clarification. So anytime somebody asks me a question, I try to ask for clarification. Like whenever you say, am I an accountant? What are you looking for whenever you're looking for an accountant? Because an accountant can mean many different things. Typically, for a business, an accountant can probably do four things: bookkeeping, payroll, taxes, and controller slash fractional CFO services. So are you looking for taxes or bookkeeping or payroll or something else? Usually people are looking for either bookkeeping and or taxes. And so I very clearly, very simply tell people, I don't do taxes, I don't do payroll, but I partner with a CPA. He does taxes and payroll. I just do bookkeeping. And what I mean by bookkeeping is I categorize your transactions, reconcile your accounts, and generate your financial reports. I can help you manage accounts payable and accounts receivable, but that's separate. And honestly, I wouldn't even bring that up. I would not even bring that up in the sales pitch. I've done that before, and it just makes things less clear. It makes things more complicated. So don't even bring that up during the sales consultation. Just get them on board with bookkeeping. And I only work with QuickBooks Online. I only do bookkeeping. I only work with QuickBooks Online. If you're using QuickBooks Desktop, if you want to switch to QuickBooks Online, I can help you with that conversion. If you don't want to, that's also fine. I can't work with you. Unfortunately, I can't work with you. You got to be strict on that. I'm serious. You got to be clear, simple, and specific. Building systems and removing yourself from the bottleneck. So I had this here in my notes, and I'll just be honest with you. Alex Hormozi talks a lot about building companies, building businesses, hiring people. I'll just be totally honest with you. I have zero experience with that. I had this in my notes here because I think it's important to bring up. I chose not to do that. I like being a lone wolf, a one-man show. I like doing all the work. I make a lot of money doing all the work by myself. And in this particular season of life, I have just chosen not to rely on anybody else. Maybe it's a character flaw. Maybe it's going to hold me back. Who knows? Maybe I can make $100 million per year if I were to build a big business. I don't know. But right now I'm making about $1 million per year, and I'm pretty happy with the way I'm doing it now. So I'm making about probably 400,000, 500,000 in my bookkeeping business, about 100,000 with my education business, and then about 400,000 with Zip Capital and private money lending. So I don't know if it's sustainable. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm kind of rambling right now. But the reason I bring all this up, do whatever you want. If you want to build a big business, if you want to hire bookkeepers, awesome, do that. If you want to be a lone wolf, if you just want to make $200,000, $500,000, $1 million per year, you can absolutely do that all by yourself. Managing other bookkeepers, being the CEO of a company is a totally different job than being a bookkeeper. And so right now, I just like being a bookkeeper. I don't necessarily want to manage other bookkeepers. I was managing 80 bookkeeping clients all by myself. I was working 50 hours per week. So that's a lot, but I was making $500,000 per year. So I thought that was a pretty good trade-off. 50 hours a week, working really hard, stressed out during month-end close, but making $500,000. That's not a bad trade-off. Do what you want to do. If you want to make a lot of money, if you want to make less than $1 million, you can do that by yourself. If you want to make more than $1 million, okay, fine. You might need to build a big business, but you don't have to. You don't have to if you don't want to. Do whatever you want to do. Tracking data and making decisions based on numbers. So very specifically, LTV, lifetime value of your clients. I think it's really important to know this. So you need to keep track of when you got your clients, when you lost your clients, and how much they're paying you. I do all this in a very simple Excel spreadsheet. I got this straight from Hormozi. LTV, lifetime value of your customers. It's really important to know that in case you ever decide to pay for advertising and marketing, so that now you know the lifetime value of a customer. So you need to be able to manage your CAC, your cost to acquire a customer. So if your customers are lifetime value of $1,000 and you're spending $1,500 to get your customers, your business is going to fail because your return on ad spend is not going to be profitable. But other way around, $1,000 to $1,000 per client lifetime value, and it only costs you $200 to acquire a customer. Ding, 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 ding. You just hit the jackpot. And now you can just spend a ton of money on ad spend and get a ton of clients and keep them for a couple of years and make millions of dollars. So for me, the lifetime value of my customers. So you need to know two things. You need to know on average, how much do your customers pay you? And on average, how long do your customers stick around? So on average, my bookkeeping clients stuck around over the past 5 years for about 2 years on average. And they paid on average $500 per month. So $12,000 is about the lifetime value of my bookkeeping clients. Who knows? I've only been doing this for 5 years, so it could be longer. My bookkeeping clients might actually end up sticking around longer. The longer I run my business, hit me up in 10 years and we'll see what the lifetime value of my clients are. But as of right now, about $12,000 is the lifetime value of a bookkeeping client, which means I could spend $2,000 a month on ad spend. And if I just get one bookkeeping client per month, then I will be able to make a ton of money. So you got to know the lifetime value. You got to know how long clients stick around. What's your churn? How many clients do you lose on average per month? I think for me, back in my prime, when I was really focused on Harrisburg bookkeeping, my churn was like 0.4. I lost like 0.4 clients per month. Okay, a couple more notes, couple more things. Let's see, where am I? Two more things. Storytelling for marketing. So I've incorporated more storytelling into my marketing, sharing wins, lessons learned, and transparency. Hormozi is really big on all three of those things. Marketing. So if you don't know Hormozi, he's like a marketing genius. He just broke the Guinness Book of World Records for most books sold in a 24-hour period, I think. And so he's a marketing genius, absolute marketing genius, marketing expert, sales guru. And so he incorporates a lot of transparency and a lot of storytelling in his marketing. And I have tried to do that with my own marketing on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. So a lot of my posts, I try to tell stories. And then I also have a call to action in almost everything that I do. Like literally look at this YouTube video right now. There's a call to action in the bottom of the screen, Zip Capital. I'm trying to raise money in Zip Capital. I've got a course for sale. I've got meetings. I've got digital downloads. You got to have a call to action. So for you, very specifically, it's probably going to be, if you need help with your bookkeeping, let me know. Here's my phone number. Here's my address. Send me a DM if you need help with bookkeeping. Or maybe the call to action is a digital download. Maybe you've got a free digital download a lead magnet that they can download. Whatever your call to action is, be very specific, be very clear, put it in the middle or at the end or in the beginning. I don't know where, I don't know how, but put a call to action in all of your marketing. Tell stories, be engaging, be inspiring, be a little bit educational, be interesting, be honest, be authentic, be trustworthy, be transparent. Yeah, there's a lot of lessons to be learned when it comes to marketing. Last thing, long-term vision, thinking like a real CEO. So what do you want to be when you grow up? Do you want to be the CEO of Harrisburg Bookkeeping and have 20 bookkeepers and 5 managers and manage a 30-employee company with an office building downtown? Or do you just want to be Zach Pasquarello, solo entrepreneur, owner-operator, Harrisburg Bookkeeping? I make $1 million per year. I'm chilling. I'm not stressed out. I'm not relying on anybody else. I do all the work. If people call off, if people leave, not a big deal. I don't have to worry about that. It's just me. I control all the work, quality control. So what do you want to be when you grow up? Seriously, what do you want to be when you grow up? What kind of business do you want to run when you grow up? So do you want to think like a CEO or do you just want to think like an independent contractor? The cool thing is the choice is yours. And also the cool thing is, like, I'm living this in real time. I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I might change my mind. So just because I say something now, just because I'm doing something now one way, doesn't mean I have to do that for the next 20 years. I very well might change my mind next year. Maybe in the next 5 years, I change my mind, and maybe, who knows, maybe I'll have 10 employees and I will be the CEO of Zip Capital and I'll be running that like a legit business. I don't know. So Hormozi, if you haven't already, check him out. He's all over Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I love his podcast. I listen to his podcast. Last thing I'll say, a lot of my marketing inspiration comes from Hormozi. I'll just be totally honest. When I exercise, when I work out, or when I drive in the car, I listen to his podcast. And if you're struggling to come up with marketing content, listen to Hormozi. Maybe listen to some of his stuff from 2023, 2024, and get inspiration, get motivation. get some marketing ideas. That's where a lot of my marketing ideas come from. He just, and it might not even necessarily be a direct one-for-one correlation between what he's talking about and what I'm posting. But if anything, he just gets my entrepreneur gears turning. He just inspires me as an entrepreneur. So huge shout out to Alex Hormozi. Thank you for all you've done for me. And I'm sure countless other entrepreneurs, probably millions of other entrepreneurs all over the world. So appreciate you and everything that you've done for us. Okay, so now let's get to the live Q&A. Let's get to the questions. It can be about anything. It can be about what I just talked about. It can be about anything else. So let's jump right into it. Stuart, huge fan of Alex Hormozi. I thought I saw one of your videos, the more, better, new, written up on the wall beside you. Love that. Yeah, let me just talk about that real quick. More, better, new. So, and I really compare this to my marketing strategy. So before you start trying to make your marketing content better, just do more of it. Be more consistent. Be more long-term. So don't, and this is great for paralysis by analysis. Don't get so caught up in trying to make it better right away, because it's going to suck. Your marketing content is going to be bad. Just do more of it. Do more, because you have to figure out what works. And the best way to figure out what works is to see what your audience is responding to. See what they engage with. See what gets more impressions or more views or more likes or more comments. So just do more marketing content first, but then you have to try to make it better. So the biggest problem that people do is they aren't consistent. They give up too early. They're too short term. They don't do it for long enough. Every day for 6 months. That's the number one problem. The number two problem, people might get over that, but then they don't make it better. So you can't just do the same thing over and over again. So congratulations, good job. You're creating more content, which is amazing. I love that. But you have to make it better. You have to look at what's working and what's not working. Do less of what's not working, more of what is working. And then finally, you can start doing new stuff. So for me, very, very practically, I posted a lot on Facebook and LinkedIn. And then I started posting on Instagram. And then I started posting on YouTube. And most recently, I started posting on Facebook story and Instagram story, and also on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. So do more of it and then make it better. And then you can do new stuff. I didn't start with videos. I started with just pictures and text and posts. And then I started doing videos. All right. More comments, more chats. Let's see. Iris. Hey, Zach, glad to be here. And I have questions when you're ready. Yep. Send it, Iris. Let's go. GLC. Good morning. Erica. Hey, from California. Brent. I like this topic. Iris. OMG. Glad you feel better. Me too. I'm still not 100%, but I am feeling a little bit better. Brent, how did you determine how much to pay yourself as a bookkeeper? So Brent, not sure if you're referring to an S corporation owner's salary or just a regular LLC not taxed as an S corp. So if you're just a regular LLC, you can pay yourself whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It all depends on how much you spend to live. So if you're an LLC, there really is no difference between you and your company. You can just, it's a pass-through entity. So you can just transfer money from your LLC to your personal bank account and then pay your bills. You could transfer $1,000 this month, or you can transfer $10,000 next month. It doesn't matter. And you can go back and forth. If you transfer too much money out of your business bank account, you can transfer it back and it doesn't matter. That's the cool thing about a bookkeeping business. There's really very little overhead. We really don't have too many expenses. So it's like 90-95% just straight profit. All you need is an internet connection, a laptop, and maybe a couple software subscriptions, and that's it. It's really just straight profit. But it all depends on how much you spend in your lifestyle. You might spend $2,000 per month, or maybe you spend $20,000 per month. Totally depends on your lifestyle. If you're an S corporation, you have to pay yourself a reasonable salary. So the IRS is very unclear on what that is, but if you're an S corporation, generally, I've heard some people say 40 to 60% of your business net income could be considered a reasonable salary. It could be more, it could be less. Probably maybe do your own research, talk to a CPA about that. But yeah, it all depends on if you're an S corp or not. But no, that's a good question. Iris, I normally have a timer that I set for 30 minutes. Then I get up and stretch or walk in place for 5 minutes. Iris, that's a genius idea. The only problem with that is sometimes I'm flowing. Sometimes I'm in the zone. And so I don't want to interrupt my flow state. So sometimes I'll be working for an hour and it just like, I got something I need to get done. I just don't want to get up. But Iris, that's a really good idea. Probably 30 to 50 minutes and then get up. Even if you just stand up for 60 seconds, that's probably good. But no, that's great. Rose Marshall, I love Alex, part of his school group. That's awesome. School. I thought about starting a school group. I think my specific education business could probably really benefit from the school group. Let me know. Let me know if anybody would join my school group if I started one. Alec, good morning. Hope you heal up quick. Running, other cardio, and a massage gun have helped me out. Yeah, I've just been doing cardio for the past 2 weeks. Haven't been doing much lifting, but I did squat 500 pounds 2 weeks ago. So that's probably why I threw out my back. Probably just the buildup of the last 3 or 4 months, just squatting really heavy. But it didn't hurt my back specifically doing something. I just woke up one morning and my back was hurting, but it was probably the compounding effect over the past 3 to 4 months, more like 3 to 6 years. But anyway, GLC. Hello, Zach. My name is Gustavo. I'm from Brazil. I want to work like bookkeeper from here. It's difficult, but I'll try. Zach, how is your work routine per day? So I'll just go over it real quick. I wake up at 5 a.m. I work from 5 to 8. And then I eat breakfast from 8 to 8:30. And then I work from 8:30 to 12. And then I go to the gym from 12 to 1. And then I eat lunch from 1 to 1:30. And then I work from 1:30 to 5. And then I eat dinner. And then I coach my son's football team from 6 to 8. And then I come home, put my kid to bed. And then I watch Netflix for like maybe 30 minutes from like 9 to 9:30. And then I go to bed at 9:30. So yeah, if you don't have kids, you can work more than that. If you do have kids, I have found if you want to be a present parent, it's pretty hard to work much more than, I don't know how many hours that was, like 5 to 5 with like a 2-hour break. So yeah, 10 hours. It's pretty hard to work much more than 10 hours per day, in my opinion, if you have multiple kids and if you want to actually play a pretty big role in their daily routine. But yeah, 10 hours per day is kind of where I am right now. Erica, I need help with my bookkeeping and tax system. I feel like every time I create a system, it's overcomplicated and it fails. I just need a simple but effective system. So Erica, that's a really great point. I'm not sure what you mean by bookkeeping and tax system, but I love how you brought up complicated and simple and failure and effective, because those are all like really important. I'm a huge advocate for simple. All of my spreadsheets are simple. I don't use fancy software. Everything is super, super simple. I manage 80 bookkeeping clients. It's more like 70 now, but I manage 70 to 80 bookkeeping clients. And I just use a spreadsheet. Very, very simple Excel spreadsheet to manage my weekly, monthly workflow. So I will bring that up real quick. I talk a lot about how many clients I have, and I'm firing 4 clients because I had an independent contractor who was working with me. He was doing 5 clients for me. And so I had 75 clients, but he was managing 5 of them, and he decided to go his separate way. So I offered to give him 4 of the clients. He said like, hey, I can't keep doing this. And I said, hey, like, just take them. I don't want them. I also can't keep doing it. So you can just take them. And so we were doing an 80-20 split. I was keeping 80% of the revenue and I was paying him 20%. He was happy with that in the beginning, but I think he grew his own business and he got pretty busy. So he couldn't handle the extra work anymore for such little pay. So I was like, you know what? I appreciate everything you've done for me. Just take these 4. I'll keep 1. You take 4 and you can just take them. Like I can't handle the work. I'm growing Zip Capital. I don't want the work. I don't want more bookkeeping clients. It's like $2,000 per month for those 4 clients. And he was like, you know what? I actually don't want one of them. I'll just take 3 of them. And I was like, I still don't want that other one because they're just kind of a problem client. So I ended up giving him 3. I'm firing 1 for good, and then I'm keeping 1. So you're going to hear me talk about probably having more realistically 70 bookkeeping clients. So just wanted to be totally transparent with you and kind of what's going on with my own bookkeeping business. And my plan is to slowly lose all of my clients over the next 2 years. So you're probably going to hear me slowly as months go by. If I'm still making these YouTube videos, you're going to hear slowly my number of clients is going to slowly drop. And that's by design. I'm not intentionally trying to get any new clients. And before anybody hits me up, I don't want to hire anybody. Nothing against you. I'm just going all in on Zip Capital. So I don't want to run Harrisburg Bookkeeping. I don't want to manage employees. I'm just going all in on Zip Capital. So I love bookkeeping. I love the lessons that I've learned, the people that I've met, and I love that it got me to where I am today. It was an amazing 5 years, and I'm going to continue running it for the next 2 years, but I'm not trying to grow it. I'm trying to let it just slowly kind of go away. Okay, let's see. GLC, how do you price your services? $3 per transaction on average per month. Chittily Vids, what do you say when you DM your prospective clients? Hey, I'm a bookkeeper. Let me know if you ever need help with your QuickBooks. Super, super simple, super clear. DFOS, good morning, Zach. Just signed my first client. Congratulations. Everybody say congratulations, DFOS, for signing your first client. It's a cleanup for very messy books, and they want me to start in April. Should I do a journal entry in April to correct all account balances? So I would reach out to them. I would just clearly communicate first and say, hey, here's your balance sheet as of March 31st, 2025, and circle the bank account. See the bank account right here? It's negative $5,000 in QuickBooks. See your March bank statement. It's $10,000 in real life in your bank statement. Just letting you know, I'm going to have to do a journal entry, a $15,000 adjusting journal entry to adjust this bank statement to the correct value because you don't want me to do your bookkeeping for January, February, March. So just letting you know, I can start in April, but I'm going to have to do this journal entry to correct all these account balances. So just do the journal entry, but also clearly communicate with your client. Let them know what you're doing. GLC, finally, do you need any help for your bookkeeping services? No, but I appreciate you offering. Bob Rivera, how do you estimate how long it'll take you to do a cleanup project and arrive at a completion date for a client? I would say 2 to 4 weeks. On average, 2 to 4 weeks, depending, and I always caveat this, 2 to 4 weeks, depending on your ability to answer my questions. If you are able to answer all my questions same day or within 24 hours, we'll get it done in 2 to 4 weeks. If it takes you a week to get back to me and answer my questions, we're not going to get done in 2 to 4 weeks. So I would say 2 to 4 weeks is a pretty good estimate. Junior Wing King. Hi, Zach. You always talk about categorizing, reconciling financial reports, but you also mentioned sometimes doing bill pay or invoicing, sales tax, journal entries, etc. So I'm confused. So journal entries is just recording transactions. Sales tax, I don't do sales tax. So right now I am grandfathered in with 4 clients. I do their sales tax because I agreed to do it 4 years ago, but I don't do sales tax for anybody else. Bill pay and invoicing is separate. So managing accounts payable and accounts receivable is separate. I don't bring it up in the sales consultation, but if they bring it up, I can do it. Or if it comes up later after we've already onboarded, I can also do that. And then, yeah, so that's about it. I think I answered all the things that you brought up. But yeah, journal entries are absolutely a part of bookkeeping. Us as bookkeepers, we need to do journal entries. We need to be able to do journal entries. If you don't know how to do them, do some research, take intro to accounting, learn debits and credits. You need to be able to do journal entries. There's no excuse. If you're an office manager or an executive assistant, administrative assistant, then sure, you don't need to know journal entries. If you call yourself a bookkeeper, you need to know how to do journal entries. Junior Wing King, is it just the former services or should we also provide the latter services? And how do you price the latter services? So sales tax, I don't price that because I don't do it. Accounts payable, $5 per accounts payable on average if you're managing the whole process. Accounts receivable, $10 per accounts receivable on average, minimum $100 per month. If you're managing AP, minimum $100 per month. If you're managing AR, maybe minimum $150 per month if you're doing both and it's very little volume. But yeah, and I manage the whole process from start to finish, from paying the bills, recording the bills, categorizing the bills, managing the bills, everything. Obviously, not all clients will want all the latter services I mentioned, and also some clients require more assistance than others with these. Yeah, absolutely. Bob Rivera, also curious how you approach a project with a client who is not on QBO already, estimating, setting up a new project, pricing. Do you have to charge an onboarding fee when you bring on a new client? So people are not on QBO all the time. So to quote them, I just get their 3 most recent bank statements and credit card statements. And I add up all their transactions, unless they want me to do a whole year cleanup. If you want me to do a whole 2024 cleanup, you're going to send me all of your 2024 bank statements and credit card statements. I'm just going to count up all the transactions, multiply it by 3, and that's your annual fee for cleanup. Or if you just want to start with monthly bookkeeping, 3 most recent, average it out, multiply by 3. That's your monthly bookkeeping fee. I do charge an onboarding fee typically equal to 1 month of services unless they're getting a cleanup project. If you're getting a cleanup project and you have 2,000 transactions in 2024, I'm going to charge you $6,000 and I'm not going to charge you any onboarding fee. If you would just want me to start in October and you have 200 transactions per month, I'm going to charge you $600 for October, and I'm going to charge you a $600 onboarding fee equal to 1 month of services. 50, not 50. True. Many clients are really short-sighted about how valuable a good bookkeeper really is. Junior Wing King, next question. I have to keep my business identity hidden from my employer because of a clause they have in their handbook about side hustles. How should I handle marketing without my personality? So I'll just be honest, it's going to be a lot harder for you. So you can leverage your business page on Facebook, your business page on LinkedIn, create a business page on Instagram, and you're just going to have to be faceless and nameless, and you're just going to have to remain anonymous. So it's going to be a lot harder. It's definitely possible. You might have to spend some money on advertising and marketing, but definitely possible. It's just going to take a lot longer. So Junior Wing King, I would probably start this bookkeeping business with the hope of quitting your full-time job in 6 months so that you can go all in and advertise. Benjamin, 2 questions. Let me get one real quick drink of water and let me know. I hope these live videos are helpful. Let me know if you like me going live every day or if you think that's too much or not enough. Let me know. Seriously, I'm doing this for you. So as long as you all, there's 75 people watching right now, as long as you all keep showing up, I'll keep making these videos, but let me know. I also post these on my podcast. So if you'd rather listen to the podcast while you're driving or working out, it's the exact same name, Bookkeeping Expert, Zach Pasquarello. Check out my podcast on Apple and Spotify. It's the exact same thing, exact same videos, just in podcast format. Let me take a real quick coffee break. Okay, let's see. 2 questions. How do you go about reconciling books for a client when their statements come in at different days in a month? So when I do a September reconciliation, I'll just get their September bank statement and their September credit card statement. So typically the September credit card statement is September 20th or September 15th or September 10th. If I can, then if it's like September 5th, then I might wait and I might ask for the October 5th credit card statement. But if it's September 10th or later, and if I just want to get the financial reports out, then I'll just get the September credit card statement, definitely get the September bank statement. But here's what I do, and you'll be able to quickly realize trends. So there are some credit card companies that are just flawless, and the connection to QBO is perfect. There's no interruptions, but there's other credit card companies like Chase that always have interruptions and American Express just have a terrible time staying connected to the QBO bank feed. So if I reconcile your credit card account and there's like some very big issues, and if I know this is a recurring monthly issue, then I might be a little bit more cautious to wait until, for example, if it's a 10th of the month credit card statement, I might wait until October 10th, get your credit card statement and just make sure everything is perfectly accurate before I send your September P&L. Instead of just getting the September 10th credit card statement, sending the P&L and just hoping the credit card is right for the last 20 days. I will do that for some accounts because, like I said, some credit cards every month, no issue, never an issue, always good, no reconciliation discrepancies. But for the accounts that do typically have problems and mistakes and omissions, I will just wait until I get that next month credit card statement. What does closing the books look like? So super simple. Categorize all the transactions, reconcile all the accounts. And then if they do have any prepaid expenses or loans or unearned revenue, do the journal entries. It all depends. Every client is different. Some clients have one bank account, literally one bank account, and that's it. Like I literally have some clients who just have one asset, their bank account, and then owner's equity and net income and retained earnings. No liabilities, one asset. It's the best thing in the world. Other clients have one bank account, one credit card, one car loan. Still pretty simple, but all you have to do to close out the books is categorize all the transactions, reconcile all the accounts, all the asset accounts, all the liabilities, and then send them their P&L. And then before you send the P&L, check the balance sheet. Check the balance sheet for accounts payable, for unearned revenue, for payments in deposit, for payments in transit or undeposited funds, whatever you want to call it. Check the balance sheet and then send the P&L. Wendy Williams, I know you were talking about bookkeeping, but wondering what you require to get a private money loan. Husband has always wanted to get into house flipping. You're the first I've seen do the lending. Great question, Wendy. So go to my website, harrisburgbookkeeping.com, and there is a real estate loan request on my website. So if you want to get a real estate loan, fill out that real estate loan request on my website, harrisburgbookkeeping.com. It should be linked down below, and you can get a real estate loan by requesting for it on my website. Faith Sparkles Clean. That's me too. I want to run my business solo. Nothing wrong with that. I think that's great. Bob Rivera. Do you use any third-party tools like Keeper and Right Tool? I don't. I've heard about Keeper. I've heard about Right Tool. I don't know why. Maybe it would help. I don't know. I've just never done it. I've never used any of those third-party tools. I'm sure it would help. Maybe I'm stubborn. Maybe I'm ignorant, or maybe I'm secretly a genius. I don't know. I've just never used them. I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't have any advice for those third-party tools. Junior Wing King, just wanted to share that it's been great watching your lives while creating my business because it allows me to ask questions in real time as they come up in my business. So thank you for doing this. I'm doing it for you. So thank you for watching. Karen, I have so much respect for your transparency. Thank you for being a rarity. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Josh, good morning from Pittsburgh. Hope your neck feels better soon. Ever think about adding a treadmill to your stand-up desk? Yeah, I don't think I could walk and work at the same time. I think if anything, I would do like, I think it was Iris who said she gets up every 30 minutes and walks around for 5 minutes. I don't think I could walk and work at the same time. I can barely stand and work at the same time. It's just hard for me to concentrate. I don't know what's wrong with me, but there's no way I could walk and work at the same time. That's why I work for 4 to 6 hours in the morning, go to the gym in the middle of the day, and then work for 3 hours in the afternoon. Kind of gets the blood flowing, kind of mixes up the day. That way I'm not just sitting for 8 hours straight. Junior Wing King, got my LLC, EIN, and just opened my business savings yesterday. They won't let me have a checking until I have 2,500 in there. LOL, going to be a while. Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe shop around and maybe get a different bank because that's kind of interesting. They won't let you open up a checking account until you have 2,500 in there. That seems weird. But Brian Birdsong, so let me just talk about this real quick. Side note. So in Zip Capital, right now I have 1.4 million of cash. So this is going to hit me a little bit different than it might hit you, but money market account. So I just opened a business money market account for Zip Capital through Vanguard. It was kind of an easy process. It was kind of a pain in the butt, depending on what you're looking at. But with Vanguard, you can put your cash in a money market account, and right now they're offering 4%. So that will go down as interest rates drop, but still 4% for your extra cash. If you've got even $1,000, that's what, $40 per year, $10,000, $400 per year. If you've got $10,000 of cash, a money market account, maybe look into it. If you want, look into it, especially if you have some extra cash laying around, especially if you pay your taxes at the end of the year, whatever, saving for a down payment on a house. I don't know. I just put $500,000 into a Vanguard money market account at 4%. So that'll be pretty nice. So yeah, look into it if you got some extra cash laying around. Or if you want, invest in Zip Capital if you have $25,000 laying around. Okay, let's see. There are a lot of questions to keep up with. I only got 10 more minutes, so I appreciate everybody asking so many questions. I just totally lost my spot. Let's see. Brian Birdsong. Good morning, Zach. Finished my first 30-day self-intro posting campaign, ending with a congratulatory post on landing 3 clients within the time period. Are you kidding me, Brian? You got 3 clients in 30 days. How should the next 30-day post campaign look? Repeat. Brian, amazing. Brian, I'd be curious to hear, did you use my social media marketing strategy guide? Please let me know if you did, or let us know what you were posting. That's just amazing. 3 clients in your first 30 days. Unbelievable. So the next 30 days, what does that look like? More, better, new. So keep doing more of what you've already been doing and try to make it better. Look back at your last 30 days. The really cool thing about social media is it has analytics. And so you can see in the last 30 days what has been doing well and what has not been doing well. So just do that. And then just keep doing more of what's doing well. Just keep mixing it up. Keep mixing it up. A little bit of personal post, a little bit of business stuff, life updates, business updates, QuickBooks tips, bookkeeping tips, more life updates. You got to mix it up. Kyla, but amazing. Good job, Brian. Really proud of you. Kyla, hi, Zach. I just finished a year-long accounting certificate. I'm working hard to land my first client. I'm curious to know, when taking a new client, is it normal to go through a training period? Not sure what you mean by a training period with a new client. So we are not getting hired on as part-time employees. We are getting hired on as an outsourced bookkeeper. So there would really be no training period. Yeah, you just start doing the bookkeeping for somebody. There might be a handoff from the previous bookkeeper, but there really is no training period. Kyla, the other thing I want to say, and not to call you out and not to, what you're doing is amazing, but a really great teaching point. So I get it. You might have wanted to wait a year, and I totally respect that. That's your decision. But for anybody else who is listening, anybody else who's reading that comment, I just want you to know, one of my really big recommendations is to start marketing and selling immediately while you start learning. So Kyla, I don't know what your experience was, but an alternative option could have potentially been for you to start marketing immediately as soon as you started taking your accounting certificate. And it doesn't have to be crazy. It could just literally be, hey, everybody, I'm starting a bookkeeping business. I'm starting an accounting certificate. Here's what I'm learning. Here's some updates about my personal life. I just went to a Penn State football game and just watched them lose 3 straight games and watch them lose to Northwestern. Or I'm going to trivia night. Here's me with all my friends. And hey, I just learned this really cool thing about bookkeeping. Hey, I just figured out that bookkeepers can help business owners by doing this. Hey, here's a really interesting business update. Hey, I just passed phase 1 of my accounting certificate. So you don't have to hardcore try to get bookkeeping clients in the very beginning, but start marketing on social media on day 1. As soon as you start the idea of wanting to start a bookkeeping business, start marketing. Don't wait. In Kyla's situation, it sounds like she might have waited a whole year until after she got her accounting certificate. And like I said, not saying anything bad about what you did, Kyla, just it's a great example. So maybe you didn't know you wanted to start a bookkeeping business, or maybe you really didn't want to start marketing until you started your accounting certificate, which, like I said, totally respect your decision. But if anybody else is thinking about doing that and you're on the fence about it, let me give you the confidence. Just start creating marketing content now. It doesn't need to be, hey, I want to get a bookkeeping client in the next 2 weeks, even though I have no experience and I don't know anything. I don't even have my accounting certificate yet, but I still want to get a bookkeeping client. It doesn't have to be hardcore like that. You could just start creating content, just start casually talking about your journey. And then 12 months go by, you graduate with the accounting certificate. You already have 1,000 followers on Facebook. You've already been creating content. Everybody knows you already started a bookkeeping business. Your business will take off like wildfire once you actually get that accounting certificate, once you actually start to get clients. Okay, Wendy Williams, just asking questions while I'm thinking about them. I've been wanting to catch you on live for a few weeks. It's pricey to start an LLC in Texas. Thoughts about starting with a DBA? Thoughts? So Wendy, I guess, what do you mean by pricey? $1,000, $500, $400. So I guess it all depends on what you mean by pricey. Yeah, I guess if you really don't want to, you could start as a sole proprietor or start with the DBA if you really don't want to. I don't know. If it's less than $500, I would say go for it. Get the LLC if you're serious about it. If you're serious about starting a bookkeeping business, just get the LLC because you're going to need the LLC in a couple of years when you elect to be taxed as an S corp. One time, 47, no kids, debt, or wife. I work an easy, low-paying job with a bunch of free time, associate's degree. Should I get a degree in accounting since I'd only have to pay for 2 years? No. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. I recommend take my course or take intro to accounting or watch a ton of free YouTube videos. You absolutely do not need a 2-year degree in accounting. You just need to take intro to accounting. You need to learn bookkeeping fundamentals. You don't need a 2-year accounting degree. If you want, sure, but you don't need to. If you want, honestly, take one class at a time, take intro to accounting right now, and then start marketing your bookkeeping business. And then if you want, you can just continue to take one class at a time for the next 3 years. And then, yeah, sure, get your associate's degree or get your accounting certificate from your local community college. But like I just got done saying about Kyla, don't wait until you get your associate's degree to then start marketing. Kimberly Kendrick, do you have a contract that your clients sign? I need help creating a contract. Yes, Kimberly, I have one available for download at my website, harrisburgbookkeeping.com/store. You can download the exact client agreement that I use. Colin Kemper, hey, trying to start as a sole proprietor and getting confused as to what I need to do with my licensing. Which things do I sign up for and when should I switch to an LLC? So I think it's great to have an LLC right away in the very beginning. I got my LLC, my EIN, my business bank account, and my QuickBooks account. Those are the only 4 things that I got when I started my business. That's all that I needed. So your state might be different. So look into your specific state requirements, but those are the only 4 things that I got. Mind over muscle. Good morning. Could you explain the way you get paid from the clients? So you've got 2 options. You can send them an invoice and they pay the invoice. So you'll need some type of payment processor like QuickBooks payment processor, Stripe, Square, or they could just simply mail you a check, or you could set up ACH origination. So this is how I do it. I have an ACH authorization that authorizes me to pull my payment from my clients every single month. So I get their bank information. They say, yes, you can pull $500 on the first of the month, every month for bookkeeping services. And that's part of my client agreement. So I have ACH origination set up. So if you don't have that, you got to send an invoice and then just hope that they pay you. Erica, I want a virtual tax and bookkeeping business with a nice size office my kids can visit. I also want to hire one other person because as a mom, I can't just sit at a desk the majority of the day. So I would just question, why do you want a nice size office? So if you want a nice size office because you think it's going to help you grow your bookkeeping business, I would challenge that a little bit. It's probably going to be $1,000 a month for a nice size office. And so if you want to spend that money, you can. But if you want to do it just to grow your bookkeeping business, you don't need to. I literally work out of my home office and I don't have an office. But if you just want an office because it'll make you feel good and you just like the idea of having an office and you want to get out of the house because you want to separate work from home, that's also fine. But if you're just doing it to grow your bookkeeping business, you don't have to do it. But if you want to do it for your own personal preference, then yeah, you can absolutely find. So look for an executive suite. So you don't need a whole office or even like a whole office section. Like you can just get like one room. So for a couple of years, I had an office suite because my old house was really small. So I did not have enough room to have my own home office in my old house. So I rented for $700 a month. I got an executive suite. And so I just had one room. It was like 10 foot by 20 foot. And then I shared a common area with 4 other suite mates. And in that common area, it was actually really cool. In the common area, there was a kitchenette with an industrial printer, copier, scanner, a microwave, a fridge, a sink, and there was a conference room, which was great. There was a conference room with a big table, bunch of chairs, and a TV on the screen. So I rarely used it, but it made me feel really legit. So yeah, I don't think it actually helped me grow my bookkeeping business, but it made me feel more professional. It did make me feel more legit. So if you want to do that for your own personal gain, if it's worth it to you to spend $700 or $1,000 a month for an office, then yeah, I'd say go for it. Justin, hello. What are the pros and cons of not partnering with a CPA when opening one's own bookkeeping business? I'm currently trying to decide how to structure my business. Thank you. What are the pros and cons of not partnering with a CPA? So people want in-house one-stop shop, somebody to do their taxes, bookkeeping, and payroll. So if you don't partner with a CPA, you can't offer that. So you're going to lose people. So the pro is that you can kind of offer your services like a one-stop shop. Like, hey, we can do it all. I've been working with the CPA for the past 2 years. He does the taxes for all my clients. I do the bookkeeping for all of his clients. We've got a great relationship. It feels like a one-stop shop. The con of doing that is that CPA might start doing bookkeeping down the road. You never know. So just because somebody is not doing bookkeeping now doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to be doing bookkeeping in the future. So yeah. Okay. So I am so sorry, but we've been on here for an hour. There are so many questions that I did not get to. But I do see, so this is kind of interesting. So I guess there's like this super chat thing. So I do see that Karen Kircher gave me like a super chat for $1.99. So I'm going to answer her question last. And then I don't want to do this, but I might have to do this potentially in the future if this gets too big and there's too many people asking too many questions, so that I can prioritize some questions. We might need to transition to like a super chat kind of thing where you might have to, I don't know. You might have to pay for questions. I don't know. We'll see. But the only reason I want to do that potentially is because there's so many questions I didn't get to. So I'm going to answer Karen's question right now, and then I got to hop off because I've got my own bookkeeping business to run. So Karen, did you set up your website and start marketing before you started DMing prospective clients? Yes. Such a good question. Absolutely yes. So I always recommend create content, find prospective clients, connect with them, engage with them, wait 30 days. Don't cold DM people. Wait until you've been friends with them for 30 days first, and then you can send them a message. So yes, absolutely. Set up your website, start marketing first, start connecting with people, engage with their posts, build relationships, build trust. Only send a DM 30 days after. That's actually exactly what I'm doing right now with Zip Capital. That's exactly what I'm doing on LinkedIn. I'm sending 30 connection requests every single day on LinkedIn to local people who are my ideal client for Zip Capital. And then I'm sending all of them a message 30 days after they accepted my connection request. So for example, literally this morning, every morning, it's the first thing I do every morning. I sent a message to everybody who I connected with on September 15th, which was exactly 1 month ago. And then tomorrow, same thing, September 16th, anybody who accepted my connection request, I'm sending them a message, but you have to wait. Don't just do that right away. Okay, so that's it. If you need more information, if you want to learn more, check out all the links in the description of the video. I will be going live every day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 10 a.m. So I appreciate all your questions. So sorry I didn't get to a lot of the questions. There were a lot more people on here than usual. So if I didn't answer your question, join me tomorrow at 10 a.m. and ask questions. And I'm not going to officially announce this yet. I'm not going to officially require that people pay to ask questions, but I will just say, if you really want me to answer your question, then do what Karen did. That's a great way to get my attention. So appreciate you, Karen. Thank you, everybody else who joined and asked such great questions. Really appreciate it. I'm doing this for you. So keep showing up and I'll keep showing up. Have a great day, everybody.